everybody, and welcome to the Cheesycast, the sporadic artist online interview series podcast. I'm your host, Cheesymanfredo, aka Alfredo Morales, and with me today is a cartoon reviewer, analyst, the OG. Like, every other cartoon YouTuber doesn't matter. I got the only cartoon YouTuber that does matter with me right now, Pan Pizza.
Hopefully. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's me, Pan Pizza. That's me.
There he is.
What's going on?
Alright. So, would you say my description was accurate of,
I'm one of the cartoon reviewers. I mean, I've been doing this since 2010. But there were other cartoon people that predated me, so I wouldn't say I'm the first or anything.
I feel like there was people that would talk about cartoons, like Nostalgia Critic would talk about cartoons, technically, right?
But he's more broader with, like, movies and,
I'd say
TV shows.
You kind of, like, found that specific niche, right?
Yeah.
Stuck to it.
I mean, there was nobody at the time when I was doing this, like... I remember looking up on blip.tv reviews for Teen Titans and shows I watch, and it's like, wow, nobody is talking about this. It's only just, stuff from the 80s and 90s.
Were you one of the first people to talk about Teen Titans in a video?
I guess so. I mean, there were other videos, yeah, but, like, I was one of the first just, talking about the stuff I wanted to talk about, where it was just, my generation of cartoons, because no one else was doing this.
Right. I want to know, because, were you the first person to have the little cartoon avatar?
No, not at all. Because I think I kind of figured out who was the first. If you remember, well, they currently go by Double Toasted, but they used to be called the Spill Crew, and they had a public access show from, like, the 90s to early 2000s,
wow.
And they had, like, they were live action at first, but then they had animated avatars in their public access show, and eventually they went online around 2006 with YouTube. So I guess the Spill Crew, Double Toasted, is the first animated avatars, but now they're in live action since it's faster to produce.
Yeah, so I guess you're the only one who really stuck by it, and I feel like you are the grandfather of, like, every other cartoon related, like, YouTuber that exists now that either has, like, some sort of avatar. Right, and talks about cartoons.
Someone, I believe, maybe, yeah.
You're the reason those little guys with the cartoon, with the crossed arms, the cartoon avatar with the crossed arms exist.
No, I didn't. I'm not taking the blame for that.
Talk shit about Steven Universe, that's your fault.
Oh, no. But it does bug me, like, I don't know, like, everyone does these cross-armed avatar things. It's like, I don't know, I didn't want to do that, where it's just a still image like that. I wanted there to be, like, at least a background where it's interactive. Like, they're sitting on something. They're not just standing in a void, and then there's essentially what feels like a green screen background.
Yeah, your avatar slightly moves.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know Cosmodore, he also has, like, his avatar sitting on a sofa. Like, do something more than just standing in place,
Yeah, your avatar also does a little kind of, like, where the lines...
The jittery...
The lines move, yeah.
Yeah, just to give it more of the illusion of movements. Like, recently I had a redesign, and I got rid of the mouth movements since I was like, this takes a little too long. So I decided, you know what, if I'm going to get rid of the mouth movements, I'm going to up everything else and have, like, a moving background and establishing shots. And currently there's only 2 Pan Pizza poses, so it's like, crap, got to draw more of that. But there's lots of things I want to draw, and... it's not. I can't be all about these videos.
Right, I feel it.
Yeah,
it's very much if you're kind of like a reviewer or whatever. I mean, I don't even want to call you a reviewer because I feel like you do. Would you call yourself a reviewer? I wouldn't really. You're like quasi a reviewer almost.
I just see myself as a person that just likes to talk about stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah. I guess just the catch-all term would be content creator, technically, right?
Yeah, just some guy that wants to talk about this, because no one else is talking about it. That's why I do videos on, like, the OG Xbox, because it's like, hey, anyone want to... It's like, hey, everyone gives love to the GameCube and PS2 exclusives, and, like, OG Xbox barely gets anything. So many franchises that just showed up on there and just had one game and vanished.
I think it is a perfect opportunity to talk about the OG Xbox. Not because of the time, but because of the position you are in. Because if you're a smaller channel and you talked about OG Xbox, you probably wouldn't be seeing any income coming in. right?
Who knows?
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, wait.
Or maybe
Yeah.
I'd be like filling a void that people are looking for.
That
Who knows?
that could be true. That could be true
Yeah.
too. All right. So I wanna go by your history, like when you first started.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Oh.
what was that big transition into becoming Pan Pizza Rebel Taxi, like being an internet persona, because I imagine you were just someone online who would check out forums and whatnot about cartoons, and then you probably found someone who inspired you to like start doing what you're doing now, right?
Yeah. I mean, essentially, it was just like the typical stuff, like angry video game nerd and
Classic.
nostalgia critic. Yeah. And, but even more before that, the classic game room, assuming anyone remembers that. But, there, essentially, like, always wanted to do this, and, I was just, like, too afraid of my own voice to actually do it. But then one of my friends in high school was like, nah, just do it, please. And eventually I did it. And the first video was of Teen Titans around 2010. Before Teen Titans Go even appeared, it was just a review of the original Teen Titans series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was... Because I talked about Teen Titans, because around high school, around 2009-10, I recall they were rerunning the original Teen Titans, and that was kind of like a point where I was like, huh, Raven's kind of hot.
Is that when you started developing your sexuality?
I guess so, because as a kid, I liked Starfire more, but growing up, it's like, nah, Raven was the better character.
Yeah, I guess same here, technically. To tell you, I didn't really... I mean, I wasn't the biggest, I guess, Teen Titans head growing up. Like, I knew it existed, and it would just play in the background and whatnot. I think I was more of a Pokemon, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I was big into those too.
But I mean, I was...
Mainly Pokemon.
2003 Ninja Turtles, that cartoon, the one for...
Oh, yeah.
By Fox.
That has my favorite theme song.
Oh yeah, that's a great ass theme song. There's one thing 4Kids does right is the theme songs. Every theme song is great. Even the One Piece theme song, I love that theme song.
Yeah, it's catchy. One song that really fits that 4Kids vibe is if you saw the commercials for Splatoon 1, they had that terrible song, "You're a kid now, you're a squid now." That feels like a 4Kids theme.
I know about the memes.
Yeah.
I get like a lot of like... I don't keep track really with video games or cartoons. I just hear about them through the memes. Like what are the memes everyone's like pushing now, right? And that's
basically
that's what I see through my feed. I like the theme song for Ultimate Muscle. I thought that was pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a soundtrack CD. Basically, like I remember when before 4Kids, the block came up. No, yeah. Hang on, I'm trying to think this. Okay, before 4Kids, it was called Fox Box.
Right.
And before that, it was Fox Kids. And Fox Kids eventually just disappeared from the lineup. And I remember one weird Sunday, the Spy Kids were like promoting the upcoming Fox Box block. And they said, hey, go to Toys R Us and get this box full of weird goodies like temporary tattoos or stickers and a soundtrack CD, which had a bunch of shitty PC games in there. But yeah, that was like the only music CD I used.
Yeah, that was an era. All right, so anyway, your first video was the Teen Titans one, right?
Yeah.
What was and after that, I imagine you made a couple more. What was like the first one to get you like a lot of notoriety?
Oh, the top 10 worst Cartoon Network moments.
What year was that? Do you remember?
True, like 2012, 13.
2012.
But also
8 years ago.
But I remember when I did that top 10 video, it got a lot of views and a lot of subscribers, and I was like, I'm not going to do more top 10s. It's too much footage to find.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it took a while to do a second top 10, and the second one was the top 10 pilots.
That one became kind of like a mainstay for you, right?
Yeah.
Because you keep talking about newer pilots and whatnot.
Oh yeah, I haven't talked about new pilots in a while, but yeah, that video is pretty infamous because there's like one scene that people notice, like, hey, that's not from the modifiers.
Yeah, when you use the Zone 10 animation. Yeah,
that's from something else.
Yeah, I think the only reason, I mean, like, those people could like kind of fuck off because they only knew about the modifiers because it's a Zone 10 animation. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
like they're all acting like, oh, you're using porn. Well, like no one knows, only a specific subset of people would know this porn exists, so you're not like, who are you, right?
Yeah, it's like they don't
calling
know.
me out. That's like,
What would they know?
oh,
Yeah.
it's like, when people spot like some secret Nazi code word. Well, how did you know that?
Whoa. Yeah. How would you know?
Huh?
Browsing the chans, doing the OK sign with your hands or something?
Oh, damn! Watch out! Watch out! Okay, so anyway, 2012. And how long? How long between the Teen Titans video and the, I guess, top 10 worst Cartoon Network cartoons? What was like the distance? Like, was it between years or like months?
Like 4 years where I decided, hey, here's how to actually make somewhat of a living off these videos. You know, actually make these profitable.
Dude,
Yeah.
was that top 10 video the reason why you started like making profit? Was that like the beginning?
Yeah, a bunch of those top tens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although in general, I don't really have any ideas for like top tens recently. You know, I don't really do
like
as
it
many
used
of
to
those.
be a big trend where every other person was doing their top 10 video, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I don't.
But now I do sort of like list. I essentially like list like that OG Xbox video is just like a list of 4 random things. You know.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
you don't even put the Do you even put numbers in the title anymore? You just kind of say,
very
like,
rarely.
best or worst something, right? And then like once the video starts, you'll see the number.
Yeah. In no particular order.
Right.
Yeah. Just.
Right. Exactly. That makes it.
I just
no particular order makes it easier for you.
I just want to talk about stuff in, just a bunch of stuff, and some of these things just don't have enough content for a full video, so it's like, hey, here's just this grab bag of random smaller videos.
Yeah, I mean, if people just want to hear your stuff about general stuff, they'll watch the podcast, the Pizza Party podcast. Well, I mean, kind of. That's more. You're way quieter on that podcast than you are.
I'm not very. Yeah, I'm not very good at conversing with people, and I'm not good with podcasts, especially on other people's podcasts.
Yeah, people want to follow the lore between me and Pan Pizza. You should probably watch the episode where I appear on the Pizza Party podcast because I air my grievances with the podcast. Although, not gonna lie, the podcast has been getting slightly better.
Well, I did tell Nolan, hey, you can edit this, and he edited the last one.
Oh,
and I might have him edit the next few, because apparently people like his edit, it's better.
Well, I think he adds like, he adds like a little bit more like kind of sound effects, doesn't he? Or like little musical clips. That's cool.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think that like lessens the load on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, top 10 worst Cartoon Network videos, and like, how much were you like? Were you making like exactly kind of like a livable wage, or was it like that kind of like potential livable wage?
Well, I don't know. I still live with my parents, but hey, I was making some good money. I was making good money off these things, so it was doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it.
My parents, because I remember having a job and then quitting, and my parents were like, just sat me down saying, hey, you got to find a job. And I was just like, well, I make videos online, and I have made this much. Okay.
I feel it.
And they were just like, carry on.
Yeah, that's kind of like with me, like I am right now. Because I have a job. I have a day job, but it's part of the... Now I'm going to dox myself a little. It's part of the college semester. I work at a college, right? So I only work during the semester. So vacation months, I'm like out of a job, right?
Oh, man.
But that's kind of works in my favor. Because, in case people didn't know, I also make comics, right? And I'm currently working on this one, like, 11-issue series that I want to complete by the end of the year, right?
Oh, man,
So when I have, like, a break, like, I'm in the middle of winter break right now. It's, like, a complete month, and that gives me, like, so much time to do the comic. Actually, before we started recording, I was working on it right now. And, like, my parents would be like, oh, you gotta get a job between the breaks, blah, blah, blah. And it's all like, well, here's the thing, like, it's better if I just work on the comic during the break, because I feel like I'm gonna earn a lot more when the comic is completed, because I feel like there will be it's kind of like I'm betting on there's gonna be a giant financial incentive when the comic is fully completed, and like.
Well, what's your plans? Like to sell merchandise or a Patreon?
I want to physically publish it, like as a book. I actually have connections to a publishing company. I mean, I think I mentioned this on the Pizza Party podcast where I said I interned at IDW, right? So,
that's cool.
Yeah. So I became friends with editors there, and they're seeing everything I'm doing, and they really like it, and they're giving me like feedback and whatnot. And they told me how to get something published, But there's certain like things I need in place. I don't want to talk about it right now. I was gonna do a whole video talking about how to get a book published. But I don't want to talk about this right now. This is your interview.
Shit. Just hook me up with that info.
Yeah. We'll talk. We'll talk after.
Whoop, whoop.
But anyway, so I imagine like this was at a time when someone could make a livable wage on like YouTube, because now it's like you can't really just live off your videos. You need merch. You need your Patreon. You need your iTunes downloads. Blah blah. Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So when did you start your Patreon?
Oh, I don't know, like several years. I'm not sure. Just several years ago. I can't really. Maybe 2015. I don't know.
That was like a couple years after the top 10 worst videos.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay, so well,
I'm not very good at keeping with the Patreon. I don't know. I feel like I need to do more with that because I want to include some votes on like, hey, what's gonna be the next video that I personally chose, and from these choices. Yeah, I want to fix that up a little more.
Yeah, I feel it. I have a Patreon too, but I don't like. All I could do right now with it is just like, here's the comic a month in advance, guys.
Yeah,
and then you just gotta wait.
That's all.
Yeah, I put like my last comic on indefinite hiatus, and the majority of my patrons are people who are fans of that comic, but they haven't left yet. So it's like, either maybe they still have hopes that that last comic will continue, or maybe they care about me. Hopefully it's the second one, because once they find out I'm not going to continue Bongo and Luna, they might leave.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
Bongo and Luna will still be around. It just won't be a comic.
But what is your comic?
My comic?
That you're working on?
Right now? It's called VillainVerse. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it on your like Twitter handle.
Yeah. There you could... actually, by the time this podcast comes out, it's going to be free to read online. And if you want to read the next chapter, you just got to join my Patreon, or you can just buy it off of Gumroad, right? And VillainVerse is just it's okay. So it's like this universe just filled with awful, terrible people, right? And there's like a giant list that ranks who's like the worst of the worst, right? And everybody wants to be number one. And the guy who's number one has this whole elaborate plan, this giant evil plan that stretches out through the 11 chapters of the series, right? And we don't know what it is until like close to the end, right? But it's a wild story. In the prologue, it's officially established, like universally established, that he's more evil than the devil. By the way, his name is the Villain. Like he's like the Villain, because yeah, that's his name, the Villain, because he's like the first villain to ever exist, and he's more evil than the devil. And they have like a fight in space. Right, and that's just the prologue. I'll send you a free copy, Pan, right after this is over, so you can check it out.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, what are like your most like notoriety? What are like throughout your history as a YouTuber? What are the big notorieties you can remember when you kind of felt like maybe where you became a little bit more relevant?
Oh. I don't know. Well, occasionally, like, whenever I talk about some random thing, like, let's say when I talked about My Little Pony for that one episode, I used some clip of, like, Rarity shaking her ass or something.
Yeah.
And I sometimes look at that video. I haven't looked at it in forever, but I sometimes look at that video and I see people saying, Pan sent me here, so... That kind of helps,
Okay.
Although I think the worst one was when the TV series The Loud House was coming out.
You're talking about like all your fans in the comments section for that video.
There are a lot of fans saying terrible things, saying like, "Oh man, Pan's gonna do something with that character." It's like, oh
God,
no,
that's terrible. Oh God.
Oh no.
That's
awful.
That's that thing, once you have like something attached to you, like when the goth girl becomes your brand, people just gotta bring it up,
Yeah, it's classic.
That reminds me of I interviewed a guy. I interviewed comic creator Xander Cannon, and he has a comic about kaijus who are like in a prison, right? It's like a prison drama with kaijus, and they have slang, but it's very like kaiju. it's like they created their own kaiju slang that's just based on real word slang. So right, instead of saying the N word, they say my Liza, right?
Oh, that sucks.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny in context of the comic, right? But now, like now, when he hears like people say "my Liza," like if they write it in an article, or if they write it, or if they say it like to him, like in person, he cringes so hard.
Oh yeah.
Oh god,
you're stuck with that forever.
Yeah, that is terrible.
Disappointingly, I can't find a single video that fit under like Goth reacts to Rebel Taxi's top 10 Goth girls video. Damn. There's no video like that. I'm mad.
Well, I mean, the Goth thing has kind of slowed down for you because like now everyone's like Goth. You know, they used to just be like your thing, but now everyone's like, haha, big titty Goth GF, right?
Yeah, I was there before it was cool, you know. Because as a kid, I thought Goth was lame, but now it's nostalgic and you know.
Yeah, now it's everyone's thing now, you know.
Yeah, I got to find another I don't know, subgenre of girl fashion that'll get popular. I think, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. What would be like the next thing? I think I remember you saying something about Butch Hartman saying that maybe hipsters might be the next thing. Hipster girls.
Oh, true.
But like, I mean,
yeah, cause,
you could be into hipster girls now.
Yeah, always.
Yeah, so
yeah.
So the next is gonna be clown girls. That's gonna be the next one.
Big titty hipster girls. Oh yeah.
Oh boy, I sure love hipster girls. Oh yeah, my name is Tom Taco, and I review anime, and I love hipster girls. Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's
you, dog.
Bad.
That's you.
Yeah, someday.
Okay, so I think I'm trying to kind of chart your history. I think one of the big first things was when you kind of like did that campaign to like get that. What was that like? Kind of like cartoon, the Dexter episode where they like use swear words.
Yeah, Dexter's rude removal.
Yeah, you were like, was that just your campaign, right? Or like, were you part of that with a group? I don't know.
In general, like that was something that I remember hearing stories about on the internet, and no one really did a video on. And at that time, there was a lot of people on some forum, I don't know which one, talking about it. I'm like, everyone's trying to find rude removal. I guess I should do a video on it too. And it was just like snowballing with more and more people just like hearing about rude removal. And I think there was a Gawker article or something. No, wait, that was for Day with SpongeBob. Okay, no, but I did one time. My video ended up on Gawker, of all things, surprisingly.
That's wild.
For Day with SpongeBob. But for Dexter, yeah, it was snowballing, and like Adult Swim was like acknowledging it, and just like, hey, we'll look into it. They just posted something in
give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah.
Parents just came home. So what were you saying?
Oh, yeah. So, Adult Swim basically made an update with their, with one of their bumpers just saying, hey, we'll look into the rude removal thing. And it was just like a long, just several months of just like back and forth. Like I remember Gendy Tartakovsky did a Reddit AMA and talking about like, oh, I think I have it somewhere. And it was just a long, long search for this thing. And I think that was like the first big like lost media searches on the internet, at least. At least for the 2010s. Maybe there was something bigger for cartoons beforehand.
It's like, it predates a lot of like the bigger lost media searches, like was a Clockman, the Crack Man, all those other like infamous ones.
Yeah, Crackman.
Oh god, you know it's funny. I remember actually seeing the Crackman before I heard it was lost media.
Oh man! Oh, really?
I think I saw it somewhere, or like no, I think I was reading like a Sesame Street like history book, and they mentioned the Crackman.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh, that's wild. And then, like, years later, I, like, find out, oh, wait, that's lost media? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so I think... Alright, so there's something I'm very interested to know about you. Because eventually you do this whole cartoon review thing long enough. And if you, if anyone is a big enough Pan Pizza fan, like I technically am, right? You know about Pan, like, going to Cartoon Network studios, and you're actually, like, being invited to these, like, to the actual physical building, right?
Oh yeah, I've been there a few times. Yeah, there and yeah.
Can you say why you're there?
Oh, man, just for fun. It wasn't really anything special. It was just like, hey, can I visit? And they're like, sure.
Damn.
What
Oh, damn! You
else?
can just ask.
I well, if you know somebody there, yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
know.
All right, and that's not. They're not talking to you about something or like maybe being
I
involved in
wish.
something.
That'd be sweet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Because like if there's one thing there's one thing I do remember you saying back in the earlier days was this kind of like shonen protagonist of a goal to eventually have a Cartoon Network cartoon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the dream kind of like fizzled out. Well, not fizzled out. I'm just like, I'm not shoving that into the videos as much.
Yeah,
you know?
because I mean, yeah, if you talk about it too much, people are gonna be like, "When's the cartoon, pan?" They're gonna be on your ass about it.
Someday.
Right.
I'm struggling to make this webcomic. You know.
Yeah, I would say
There's a lot of things that.
I would say I feel it, but that'd be a lie. Because I don't really struggle to make web comics, but
Damn, what do you do? How do you fucking draw so much? You know.
Do you have a social life?
I mean, barely.
Okay,
But yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't actually. All right, I haven't played video games since 2017.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. You know what? I was kind of not big into video games for much of the 2010s, and then I got a Switch, and a lot of productivity kind of went downhill.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like okay, actually no. There was one video game I did play. Like I think 2 years ago, I played one of the Dragon Quest games.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I wanted to play it, but really I just wanted to like look at the art because I really like the art. But like,
Oh, yeah.
it was a situation where like, have you ever let someone borrow something and then a couple maybe days or months pass by and you ask them like, hey, did you like check out the thing you let them borrow? And then they say, oh, I haven't even looked at it.
Oh, sad. That kind of happens to me a lot because like a lot of fans send me a bunch of random DVDs and whatever
They
to
hit
check
you
out,
up.
and I'm like, there's a lot of DVDs I get. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I hate like that kind of person. Nothing against you. In your case, it's different.
Yeah.
You're literally like an internet celebrity, right?
Ooh.
But in my case, it's kind of like it's just like a friend, like because you let a friend borrow like a book, and if they haven't even read it, even though it's been a long time, I get really upset. And so I made a promise to myself, I'm never gonna be that person, right? So when my friend,
yeah.
let me borrow Dragon Quest, even though after I like just played a couple of it and realized I don't think I really want to play this, I said to myself, no, you're gonna finish this fucking game. So I like speed run the game as fast as I
man.
could, and it's a game where you have to grind. So I had to like just figure out like the
Oh.
best ways to grind as fast as possible, right? And I did
Yeah.
and I did beat the game. Like I kind of played it in bursts. Like I made sure at least I beat like 3 bosses in one sitting. Because I had to go back to making like comics. Like I mean I don't know. Like do you have this is kind of personal. Do you have like depression or anxiety or like ADHD?
More anxiety, yeah. Just like, oh no, there's so much I gotta do. But first priority is the videos, and I wish I could spend more time on the comic.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like a sentiment. I think you expressed it during when you reviewed the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, right?
Yeah,
And there's
yeah.
this kind of like thing I feel. And I think you mentioned it a little bit. How
Yeah.
Someone like James Rolfe is kind of trapped, right? Like
Yeah.
like okay, so James Rolfe, Angry Video Game Nerd, just does something for fun. Mostly at first was to entertain his friends, but then it became big, and he started making money off of it, and then it becomes his job, right?
Mhm.
And then, but what James really wants to do is make movies. Like that's like
Yeah.
ever since he was younger, he wanted to make like movies. That's like that was the real goal, and he just did Angry Video Game Nerds for fun. Then James gets a family, right? So he can't really
Yeah.
try to risk it to make a movie. He has to like provide for his family. So he like doubled down on Angry Video Game Nerd. Does that like Red Letter Media Show thing he does now, right? Like he's
Yeah.
kind of like he's stuck, you know. Like,
Pretty much, yeah.
do you relate to that? Would you say you're stuck?
Yeah. That be life, you know.
Yeah, like do you? I mean, yeah. I guess that answers that question, right?
It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Part of me feels like maybe I should just pay someone else to finish this damn comic.
Huh.
Although it's like sections of it are half done, so maybe a different issue, and that'll have a different art style. Like make each comic a different art style completely, as some sort of anthology thing.
What would be like? So, like, I guess would you say you still kind of to some extent have that goal of having a cartoon?
Yeah.
Right. So
I mean, I'm just like, yeah, I want like, I don't know, just like a cartoon or some sort of video game with tons of skins of my OCs. Because you know what I envy is, I think it was John Romero. No wait, hang on. For Mortal Kombat, no, hang on. Crap, Mortal Kombat. Ed Boon. Yeah, Ed Boon.
Ed Boon.
I remember like when Mortal Kombat 11 was coming out, there was just like a 20-minute video on some gaming site where it was just him talking about his characters. It's like, damn, I wish I could make a 20-minute video about me talking about my OCs. That's the dream.
Well, people like technically already do that like right now. Have you ever seen that one video I posted? I made myself the enemy of the art community on Twitter. I posted a video where it's me in front of a green screen, and I was saying, like, I'm tired of people designing really good-looking OCs, but they don't do anything with them. And then I yelled,
"Sorry."
then at the end I yell out, "Make a comic, you fucking coward!"
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
But
whoops.
I mean, the thing is, like, that's kind of like me being very like, it's kind of like exaggerating my sentiment, because I kind of get it, because I have like a lot of friends who have like either anxiety, depression, ADHD. They have something that keeps them from like doing, like, kind of fulfilling like whatever artistic goal they really want to accomplish. Like, I have none of those things. I think I have like mental privilege, I want to call it. I don't even know if that's the correct term.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I don't have nothing really impeding me. I'm like incredibly privileged person, right?
Oh yeah.
So like, it's like something I kind of need to take advantage of. There was this one this one comic creator I look up to. His name is Simon Heselman. He did a comic called Meg, Mog, and Owl. You ever heard of Meg, Mog, and Owl?
Nope.
You ever seen the movie Trainspotting?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's like that, but with like monster characters. Okay.
So it's just them hanging out, getting high, or what?
Sorry about that. My dad just came into the room. But
Okay,
yeah, just like monster characters hanging out, getting high, being like degenerates, right? But it's really funny, but it could get very like sad. Anyway, I asked him, because he said he had depression, and I asked him, how do you make a comic but also have depression? And he said, like, years of therapy.
Oh.
Because he only started making comics when he was 30. Like, before that, he was like trying to get into music, but he was also like fighting depression at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. So you gotta kind of like figure out like what you need to like. What like, you say you have anxiety. Like, you just worry too much about having like too many projects.
Oh, basically, just like, oh man, I gotta finish something, and sometimes I spend too much time on a video, and I'm like, damn, this is a waste. Just get this done.
I feel it. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about, if you just stop making videos, how long do you think you could survive before the money depletes?
Well, pretty well, because I think since I live with my parents, so that's pretty good. I don't know. A pretty good amount of time.
Okay, I think you should figure out like exactly how many months, right? And then like when that happens, you could you say like, okay, I'm gonna take another Pan Pizza hiatus, and I'm gonna just work on the comic, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could probably if Nolan is just gonna be editing the podcast, you could still have a presence online, right?
Yeah,
and like
that'd be good.
And like, I mean, I think you're big enough that like if you pause, people aren't gonna forget about you, you know.
Whoa.
Like no one's gonna fucking like be like, oh well, now that Pan Pizza's gone, like there's no point in following him on Twitter, right?
Oh no. Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen to you. You're gonna be fine, right?
Oh man, yeah. Hopefully.
No, like I seriously like. Look, I bet. No one, you're not gonna fucking just drop out of popularity, right?
Yeah.
You know, so like if you just figure out exactly how long it's gonna take for you to survive off a certain amount of money that you make from Patreon before it gets too low.
Yeah.
And then you just dedicate like your time to making the comic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
but I feel like I'd be a procrastinator in that case too.
You gotta
Just like,
how's your is your room organized for you to like work in?
I mean, pretty much, yeah. This room I'm sitting in is just like a recording room and just essentially like a mini living room, yeah. Where I want to get rid of all these collectibles I got over the years. Just like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have spent a lot of that YouTube money on collectibles. I didn't spend too much money, but still, it was kind of a quantity over quality. Like I bought a bunch of tiny little things that didn't matter, and it was like, man, I should just spent like 100 on this big ass Ryu trophy or whatever. I don't know.
Oh damn! You have a Ryu trophy?
Oh no, I wish.
Oh.
Like, I just bought a bunch of tinier stuff instead of like the big stuff. You know, like those big ass $100, $200 vinyl figures. I should have spent it on that instead.
Damn.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I always had like a dream of having a massive collection of like Godzilla figures. Right? You ever?
Yeah.
You ever heard of a webcomic called Twisted Kaiju Theater?
No.
Well,
I don't read webcomics.
That's fine. He the guy who made that webcomic, it was basically just like his toys in front of a green screen, and then he'll edit it in Photoshop. And I would read that when I was younger. It was also the comic that gave me the Monster Girl fetish. Not gonna lie. Yeah, because he literally invented these things called K-girls, which are just like kind of like the hot, I guess, furry equivalent, the furry equivalent of like a kaiju, like of a Godzilla kaiju, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm looking it up on Google. This is like this looks like vintage internet.
Yeah, it is. It is. Actually, he used to have a website just dedicated to them, but then he nuked it. He nuked it because I think he got married and had a kid. And he probably felt like, yeah, this is kind of nasty now, and then he just nuked the whole thing.
Oh,
yeah,
damn, internet, just history gone.
I was thinking about interviewing him, but like, I don't even know what I would ask him because I would read the comic, but like, you know, when you were if you're younger and you read something that's probably made for an older age group, and technically you could read it, but you're not really getting it. Yeah, that was like me reading the comic. So, like, I don't even know what I would ask him. I don't think I have that much emotional investment in the series to, like, get him on. You get me?
Yeah, it's like, you could.
He also doesn't have any clout for me to, like, siphon off of, so, you know.
Oh, so he's just been forgotten?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I talked to Matt Frank, who's, like, one of the biggest kaiju artists online, and he said that he's still around doing stuff. Right?
Yeah. Because I don't know, a while back I was just looking up random like people that were famous on Tumblr, early days of Tumblr. I'm like, where are they now?
That could be a video.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I didn't really follow too many interesting Tumblrs, so it's like I don't know them.
Yeah.
Who cares about the history of these things?
There's already other people doing that. There's that one chick who like chronicles like weird Tumblr subgroups, right? I saw her video. She did a video about like the Furby subgroup that makes like weird. Makes like, you ever seen like the long Furby? Yeah. That's the subgroup that makes those the custom Furbies.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, those are great. I'm looking through my questions. Okay, there's something I was wondering. So technically speaking, your Pan Pizza persona, the little cartoon avatar, is like supposed to be like an anthropomorphic pizza.
Oh no, it's not at all that. I don't even know what my character is.
I thought it was. I swear I read that somewhere.
I mean, it's well,
was it
a long time ago?
It was like a proto design, right?
Yeah, Pan Pizza's design came up, I don't know, a long time ago. I was just like, I remember liking the show Bubble Bo.
Nice.
And I thought I need to make my own comic or whatever about food. It was I don't know what it was. It was called Food. I don't know what it was called. No, something like that. But I don't know. Pan Pizza was the main character, but originally his name was Pizza Joe, and eventually I decided to use that as my icon for when I was on the internet. Yeah,
I feel it. All right, well that's settled. That's settled. Okay, I'm trying to think of like bigger things that happen throughout. What are the big money making moves that Pan Pizza has made throughout his whole history on YouTube?
I don't know, but like one video that got really popular was that time I talked about all the Image Movers movies, like Polar Express, Beowulf, Mars Needs Moms.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people like that, but there were a lot of people that were like, hey, don't diss on Polar Express. That's a classic. And it's like, I mean, you're allowed to like it, but it's like, it's not that good of a movie.
There's two camps. There's the people who like Polar Express, and then there's the people who just think it looks gross, terrible, awful, abomination. You know which one of those, like, real caption kind of, like, movies I like? I like Tintin.
Tintin? Yeah, oh, yeah,
by
true.
Peter Jackson. That was really good.
Yeah, that's a Nickelodeon movie, which I'll eventually cover, but... Yeah. The good thing about Tintin is it actually uses, you know, the fact that it's stop motion, like certain things like, not stop motion, motion captured. Yeah, you know, it actually feels justified in being in that medium because
it does a lot of cartoonish. Okay, like the one long take where like the building is falling down because like the water's pushing it, and they're all racing to grab that piece of paper. That's like such an amazing scene. Yeah,
and like Corridor Crew made an analysis on that scene, and it's like, damn, there's a lot of rendering the computer has to deal with just to make that one long tracking shot.
Oh god, yeah, I wasn't.
But
yeah, go on.
Oh, but like stuff like the Christmas Carol, the Scrooge movie, it didn't really need to be motion captured at all.
Yeah.
It kind of just like said, hey, here's some talking scenes, and now let's fly around the map for 10 minutes straight. It was kind of just like pointless.
I keep forgetting that movie exists, and I only ever remember it exists when I rewatch that one video you made about it.
Yeah, I love that video. I watch that on Christmas. Because I like the mood. Well, I do try to make videos that appeal to me. You know, I want to watch. Course. Essentially, like I want a video that has a mood to it. You know, it kind of bugs me when videos talk about stuff like a cartoon or a movie, and they don't just show a clip or use any music from the thing. Or
that's always kind of annoying.
Yeah, it just feels empty. It's like I want people to get the mood.
Yeah, like you say, like, oh, and the music's so great. Well, can you show us some?
Nah.
And the backgrounds are so good. Well, can we look at some?
Man.
Yeah, those are always kind of like empty. I mean, I get people's logic because they don't want to be like copyright. Like they don't want their shit
Pussies.
to be. Oh god. Yeah. It's Yeah. Fuck. What else? I was gonna mention. Fuck. I was gonna mention something, but you. Oh, okay. So I was in an argument with a friend of mine because we were talking about the Lion King movie, the remake, right? And like I saw a couple of clips of it, and I'm like, wow, this looks so dull. This looks like such a dull movie. It's like, hey, you ever thought about? Hey, what if Lion King was just soulless? What if it was boring? Wouldn't that be great?
What if it's like a nature documentary?
Right, exactly. And then like I was complaining to my friend, and they're all like, well, this is like the best they could do it. You know, this is like the best that anyone could do it, right? And I'm like, I'm thinking like, in fucking Tintin, what I like about the Tintin movie is that the fact that like, since it's all like CGI, technically speaking, the camera could move anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like trying to imitate like real life, but it's like not, and it's like aware of that, right? Like like so many you could do so many amazing angles, so many crazy stuff that just couldn't be done in live action, and just apply that to a live action Lion King, and it probably would have been 10 times better. But like, since like I guess it's just the director at the helm doesn't think about those things like that, he just kind of defaulted to like nature documentary, right?
It's just a tech demo for realism. It's like what I hated about what I didn't like about the Beowulf movie and stuff. It's just like, hey, they could have done something like 300 where it was a very stylized adventure, but it's just like, hey, look how realistic we can be. I guess it's impressive for the time, but you know, it's just like
stuff that's like impressive.
That's cool, I guess.
A lot of stuff that's just impressive for the time. It's just like stuff that's kind of like, like
no one will care.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Freak.
Soon in the future, when we can bring like the Lion King characters into real life somehow, that movie won't mean shit.
In the future, we could bring them in real life, and we could fuck them, you know.
Yeah, that's the dream.
That is the dream, right?
That's literally just my comic. Just like, hey, what if you could bring characters to life and bone them? You know?
yeah. I said that. I said those things.
I mean, it's just like
in the Pizza Party podcast episode, I mentioned that, and you're like, what? Nah.
Nah, it's fine.
Oh wait, that reminds me. Okay, so this might be putting you on the spot right now.
Huh.
Right? So as someone who was on the Pizza Party podcast and like just was there and like, fucking hear everything uncut and then rewatch the episode with me on, I noticed you did cut out a couple things that I said or that were said.
What did I cut out?
Okay, so
because sometimes I do cut out stuff for like pacing because I don't know, I'm kind of paranoid. It's like, is someone just gonna get bored with this like long stretch of words that don't matter? Because I do sometimes cut out my own words where I'm like bringing up some random story that doesn't go anywhere, and I'm like, wow, nobody cares in the conversation. Better cut this out.
Oh god, I mean, damn, I barely even noticed those because sometimes audio sounds a little bit too choppy on the podcast, but I just think like, oh, it's just their mics like clipping out or something, right? But
sometimes.
But there was this one part where like I made like a pedophile joke, and you you laughed, right? You do this like kind of like I guess adorable laugh, and then Izzy like said like that was like the most adorable laugh I ever heard you say, but it was like done because of a pedophile joke.
Yeah,
you cut that out in the actual episode.
Damn. Didn't I don't know, maybe someone told me to cut it out, because personally I wouldn't have cut it out. I'm like, I mean, I want to know. I'm not wondering what the joke was.
The joke was like, she said something like, actor of original TV show wants there to be a revive, and then I said, actor in original TV show turns out to be pedophile.
Oh, why would okay, I don't know why I would cut that.
You didn't cut out the joke. You just cut out like Izzy talking about your laugh, because I said the joke, and then you laughed, and then Izzy said like, "Oh, that laugh is so adorable." She went on her little spiel, right? But you cut that out.
Oh, I don't know. I guess I don't know, because again, pacing issues where I'm like, just cut this, just get on with this. Because like in the very beginning, like the first like 5 minutes of the podcast or so, I do cut a lot of stuff out just to get to the point. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm just like paranoid. Like, does anyone want to listen to this unedited stuff?
I mean, back when I was like pretty big on the podcast, I would listen to the whole thing. But that's because I'm just drawing, so I just have it on the background. I'm not like
true.
Like, looking at the fucking still image of you guys just standing there. I'm just playing that in the background. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was just something that was kind of like interesting. Like, I wonder what his logic was. I blame anxiety. It's your anxiety, Pan.
Most likely, yeah.
Actually, going back to like the whole making a comic, do you feel like you're the kind of person, like, why are you making a comic, Pan? Is it because the story you really want to tell, or is it just to have something?
I guess both, but mostly since it's like fun just to draw and the hopes of the hopes of having a licensed Anarchy Reigns video game based on my characters.
Oh god, I would like a fighting game based on my. I feel like there's enough characters. Okay, so by the end of this like story for VillainVerse, I want there to be at least 100 villains, because at the end, spoilers, is going to be like a giant endgame style final battle, right? Where it's every villain that's appeared throughout each issue like shows up at the end, and they take sides in this final confrontation. But like, it's like, okay, so I guess let me explain my situation a little bit. I kind of hate my life. Right? Like, I don't really like if I'm just sitting alone in my car, I think about like, goddamn, I do not like the position I am in life. Right? Like, I don't like being in where I am right now. Right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I want to get out of it, but I want to get out kind of like on my own terms. Like it's gotta be through a comic. Like, it's gotta be through a comic. There's this one guy I follow called Ed Piskor. You ever heard of Ed Piskor? He's a comic book creator. He did Hip Hop Family Tree.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Well, anyway, he has 3 books right now that keep getting like reprinted over and over again, and he gets like checks because of it, right? And because of that, he like kind of calculated it, and he has like 5 years to do whatever he wants. Like, he doesn't have to worry about making a comic that he'll know will sell. He just could make any comic he wants, right?
Shit.
Right. So like it's kind of like, damn, I want to be in that position. Like that's the like I know where I want to be, right? Like I want to have several comics that like just get reprinted, or just have one comic that becomes like a mainstay, where the majority of my money come through, you know. And then
I mean that's what Exhibit made a Pimp My Ride for. He was just like, I need something that'll make money while I'm asleep.
yeah, exactly, right? Like that's the kind of like, and that's like what really motivates me. Also, I have like kind of a personal time limit. Like, let's just say the position I am with my family right now, there's like a certain time limit, right? So like, if I lag too much, I'm gonna really fuck myself up in the next couple of years, right? So I have this thing. Like, I don't know how do you feel about your life, Pan Pizza? Do you like?
I guess all right. Yeah, I'm less stressed about stuff, you know.
Yeah, I guess there's no like inherent. Like, I guess that's the difference. There's like no inherent. There's no, I guess, deadline for you, right?
Not always, not really. Yeah, but it's like
not like you gotta upload on Tuesday kind of deadline. I mean, like, kind of your own personal goal kind of deadline, you know.
Well, just the Tuesday thing's really the only deadline. But I am stockpiling videos as of now. I'm on break for January.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed you haven't uploaded in a while.
Yeah, a lot of YouTubers take a break during January.
Yeah, I got you. I know Philip DeFranco doesn't really post during kind of like It kind of follows the college semester kind of thing, you know. It's motherfuckers are out on break and whatnot. All right, so let's see what other questions. All right, so. Yeah, Pan, you gotta just treat yourself. You gotta treat the making thing as like a do or die, right?
Oh,
That's
man.
how you do it.
Yeah, I mean, one slogan I had for myself was "Get to Cartoon Network or go to hell."
Oh God, I have a. So you know how like people say, scientists say we have like at least maybe 10 years left on this planet. Yeah. So I have that literally. I have a note. A sticky note above my desk that has that literally says you have 10 years left.
Shit.
Right, so
that's fucked.
Yeah, I literally just gave myself a deadline. So I'm like, okay, cool, time to pump out a comic.
This reminds me, the creator of Devilman's manga, I think he thought he was dying. Like, I don't know, he had some bowel problems and was like, oh man, I'm dying. I better make a comic. And that's what thrived him to make Devilman.
You ever thought about giving yourself a deadly disease? Maybe that could help you.
No, I'm always paranoid of having a deadly disease, but doctors say, no, your urine's fine. Chill out, Pan. Just drink water.
Same here. Actually, at the start of the year, like the bottom part of my back was like really sore and it was hard to kind of like walk, and I was all like, oh shit, it's finally happening, my back is collapsing, and it's like damn, if I get paralyzed and I won't be able to draw, how would I kill myself? Like, it's so crazy.
Oh God.
Or how would I what kind of crazy bullshit do I have to pull to just have my arms to move so I could still draw, you know?
This reminds me, keep going.
No, you go, it's fine.
Okay, I forget, but I think they worked on some game called Oni on PS2, but essentially some creator, I don't know, some artist was paralyzed, and all he can do is basically move his eyes around, and now he has a computer that essentially tracks his eye movement, and that's how he draws via his eyes.
I remember
it's pretty wild.
There was this one manga artist, I can't remember if he's the guy who did Jiji no Kintaro, or maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but it was like some guy who fucking his dominant arm, it got blown up during the war, right? So what he did was that he just taught his left arm to be as good as drawing as he was with his right.
Oh, man, yeah. Right? Kind of like the Pelswick guy.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, this is like kind of like if you live a cushy life. I'm not saying you have a cushy life. You know, I don't know you that well, right? But like when there isn't like any kind of things where you just have no choice, you know, you gotta kind of like, there's nothing really rushing you. It's very easy to kind of like procrastinate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like for example, in my room I have a physical calendar, right? And on it there's like dates. Like at the last day of the month it says finish chapter 1 of VillainVerse, right? So it's kind of like you have those stuff there that kind of like reminds you, like every night I leave my like paper where I'm gonna work on the next comic page just out in front of my desk, so it's like the first thing I see when I wake up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I don't know what you like. Oh, what's your schedule like, Pan? Like when you wake up? Tell me for life.
I don't know. I kind of just like wake up and then I just wake up from the sofa and then I just eat something and I'm like, well, I guess I'll write a script or edit videos, and sometimes I'll draw, not always. Yeah.
It's a yeah.
Oh,
I just have my stuff. I mean, for me the week is like dedicated for like comics, but the weekends are just dedicated for like other stuff. Like maybe there's like, because sometimes I have an urge to do like a smaller comic, right? Or do some sort of Bongo or Luna art so people don't forget that those characters exist.
Yeah.
Right?
I haven't drawn my characters in forever. Well, publicly. I don't draw them as much, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel it. Like, it becomes kind of almost a job, kind of, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta remind people that, like, your character still exists. Oh, wait, that reminds me. Like, LokiIRL. That's technically been rebooted like 3 times or 2 times, right?
Well, not quite, because the first 3 issues, they're kind of like, there's still a story, but with each issue, I look back on the previous one where I'm like, ugh, this is bad. Let's try to make this issue still follow the story, but kind of self-contained, you know, where you don't really need to watch the previous one.
Right. I feel
yeah,
it.
and that's what I'm doing with the newest one, because now it's a most drastic reboot where there's a lot more human characters instead of just like everybody being neon.
I think you dropped I saw a couple of it, right, where it's like, oh wow, what's her name has like realistic human skin color now.
Yeah, Bianca. Yeah, a lot more human characters, but the world still takes place in a place where people bring cartoons to life and they give birth to like human cartoon hybrids.
How much social commentary is your comic gonna have?
Not intentionally, but look, I mean, I'm sure like some white nationalist is like, oh shit, all these cartoons are taking over. Oh no.
That you should. A big topic no one really talks about is the anxiety that like mixed kids have. There'd be like people who are born from like Japanese parents and like black parents, and they're all like, oh, I'm acting too black or too Japanese, and there's like an anxiety to it, you know.
That is somewhat a theme of LokiIRL, where it's a lot of characters that are either mixed or like separated from their cultures, because like Loki and all the other villains in the book he comes from, the book of all these assets from an unreleased Japanese cartoon that was butchered to be Americanized. Yeah, all their just like all those animes, like all his culture is removed, and he doesn't know where he fits in, and like his character is now basically one of those like hip, marketable gangsta characters that would be in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like Oscar from Finding Nemo. No, not Finding Nemo. Oscar from Shark Tale. You know, just a hip, marketable character.
I get you. It's funny how like if you I feel like if you're a fan of Rebel Taxi's videos, Pan Peaks' videos, it's very easy to like read LokiIRL because like, oh, this is Pan, right? It's like they're connected hand in hand.
Every character is basically a self-insert of me, which I don't know.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Bongo. I'm Bongo and Luna. Like that. They're both me. Yeah, go on.
Because one of the most interesting bits of advice was, like, I've heard was from a DVD of Billy and Mandy where Maxwell Adams was behind the scenes, and he was saying how every character you create is essentially a different aspect of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I guess it's also kind of the same with Stan Lee when he was in that Mallrats cameo where he's like, you know, talking about his characters. Kind of like that.
No, I don't think I've seen Mallrats.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, you should see the Stan Lee cameo at least. It's good.
Damn. So I was gonna. Okay, so this might be a little bit personal, but like, me and you, we both still live with our parents. Do you like only talk Spanish to your parents?
No, they can speak both, but I can only speak one and barely any Spanish.
Yeah, same here. Like I only speak Spanish with my parents, but like, it's kind of hard because every time I mess up. They like fucking bully me on messing up.
Oh no!
Right? Because like that's why I'm so like. It seems like I'm quiet. Like if people talk to me in English, I talk a lot. But like if you talk to me in Spanish, I'm very quiet. Because, like, there's this kind of, like, even when I was little, like, they would bully me about not speaking, like, saying fucking up Spanish words, right? So I would just say it less, you know?
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, that's kind of like the movie Dope, where it's like, damn, I'm being ridiculed by my own kind.
Yeah, exactly. It's so, which is why I say that race is a social construct, destroy all races.
Woo woo.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Alright. Fuck, I think I want to mention something else about comics, but I think we could just jump in. Fuck, we went through a lot of like what I wanted to talk about, and it's only been an hour.
What about
what about what?
Oh, what about the questions or whatever?
The fan questions. Oh yeah, can I?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the fan questions on blast a little, because like
okay.
A lot of people were treating this like they were like pizza party questions, where they would ask you about like, oh, what's your favorite cartoon? Like, what the fuck? Like,
well, I picked some ones that I was interested in.
Oh, okay, yeah. We can read those too. It's just that like, I'm a little annoyed because it's kind of like, damn, this is Pan Pizza interview. You could ask him stuff that pertains to him, but people just want to know what like, what's your favorite fucking cartoon? Blah blah. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there was this weird one where some girl, I don't know who this person was, but they were like, "Damn, what that mouth do?" And it's like, I'm not answering that question. Whoever that person was.
Oh god. Yeah, like there's like the meme questions are like fine, but there's just like ones where it's like, oh, people are really like want to like know your comments on like a certain cartoon. It's all like, this ain't the Pizza Party podcast. This ain't wrong podcast.
I don't know. Maybe we should have clarified what.
No. I want people to not be clarified. I want to talk shit about them. Yeah, nah. I should have. You're right. I forgot that the Pizza Party podcast exists for a second. Okay, so anyway, we can read the questions you picked out.
Okay. Well, you picked out some too, right?
I was just gonna look through them because I got them right here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you go first.
Let me read this one by S.A. Lopez. Says, for Pan, with everyone creaming over 16-bit indie games, do you think early 2000s era 3D graphics, i.e. original Xbox, could have the same nostalgic market? What would you like see in a game like that? Well, to answer that, I don't think that would be hard, because like 8-bit art and low poly 3D 64 era art is pretty distinct, but to do something like GameCube era, it's like, how do you do that without people just saying, "Oh, this just looks like some bad graphics"? Like, how do you
GameCube era graphic? Like, how do you even pin down GameCube era? Because there's like a lot of diversity with quote unquote GameCube graphics, right? Because
but like
Luigi's Mansion doesn't look like Resident Evil, right?
Yeah. But there is one thing that I think could work, but I think it'll just look cheap. But essentially what I call the candle wax looking 3D. Like if you look at Sonic Heroes or the first Dragon Ball Z Budokai, they have that weird, smooth, shiny look to them.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like maybe that could work, but I don't know if I think it's too niche for someone to really understand it and accept that as a style.
Sonic Heroes Remastered. When though?
Oh yeah, nothing.
Actually, I did like in Sonic Hero. I did like the concept of like, oh, certain characters are speed types, certain characters are flying types, certain characters are strength type. They should have brought that back for Sonic Forces. So it's like, like so. Oh, you want like certain animal types are only in certain groups. Like, oh, you want a crocodile OC? Well, he's only strength type. Or do you want,
that'd be
like if you want a specific type, you know.
That would imply Sega would have to do a lot more than just making a simple character creator. That's just so many more things to worry about. Yeah, but Candle Wax 3D, maybe that could work, but I don't know about that era for nostalgic graphics.
It's gotta like people like, I don't know, they cream over like a graphic, like, oh, it looks like 16-bit, 8 bits, but yeah, like. Let's talk about gameplay, because something could like look really fucking good, but like the gameplay is just incredibly dull, right? So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah,
right. You know, like
visual aesthetic. Because look, there's a lot of games that have like good reviews and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to play that. That looks all brown and dingy and dark.
Well, you don't want to play The Last of Us 5. Come on.
Nah, I don't. Oh, I don't care for cinematic games whatsoever. I'm,
Yeah.
I don't like that stuff.
I liked Uncharted when I played it. I don't know if I'll still like it now.
Yeah, nah. Just give me some. Like Sony, stop caring about like more. Just games made for fun.
Don't you want?
Except for Crash, I guess.
Don't you want to play Iraqi War Simulator 500?
Nah. Thankfully, we're kind of leaving that era because the 2009 and 2008 era was just full of just military shooters and just no color.
Well, I blame George Bush.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably would have gotten that back if we actually went into World War III, but it looks like we're not.
Oh man,
we're not.
Okay, that's good.
We're not going into World War III, so we're not going to get military simulators anytime soon.
I bet the Call of Duty creators are just like, damn, there goes our like new source material.
The Call of Duty creators are behind the war of Iraq.
Yeah, it's like, come on, we need new inspiration, please.
You know how like oil CEOs are like they're making a lot of money off the war, but also so are like the CEOs for Call of Duty. They're like they're hand in hand working together.
I mean, why don't they just there's other wars they could do besides World War I and II. How about the Civil War?
Yeah, that'd be a little bit too. Okay, that probably would work because then it's like, oh, finally, all writers have representation. But
yeah,
but the same
yeah,
go on.
Call of Duty race war.
Oh God, choose your side.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Oh, nice. You could have there'll be Nazi DLC, and that would be for the South.
Oh no.
Oh, Confederate zombies.
Yeah. The Dukes of Hazzard Confederates mode. Oh, speaking of, sometimes I go on YouTube and, I don't know, I was just looking up Dukes of Hazzard and randomly the automated search results, one of them was Dukes of Hazzard game PS4, and it's like, damn, people are still hoping they'll make a Dukes of Hazzard video game.
Dukes of Hazzard gotta make a comeback. Didn't they have like a remake movie or something?
Oh yeah, with Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott.
Yeah.
That existed.
Damn.
And then they had a prequel movie that was straight to video that didn't feature those actors at all.
I wonder how strong the Dukes of Hazzard fan base is.
Somewhere down south, they care.
They care.
Possibly.
All right, cool. Yeah. You got another question?
Oh, hang on. Let me see. Let's see. Huh. Oh yeah. Let's see. Mike McG. Cool, a pan interview. My questions are, was there ever any videos you just gave up on because they were just too hard or too long to make? And 2, what inspired the latest redesign of your avatar? Okay, as for too hard to make videos, the recent one where it was just like best of the year and worst of the year. I mean, worst of the decade, and it was like this was too much to cram together.
Right, I agree. I'm glad you gave a shout out to Shivering Truth. That was like that was my favorite cartoon of 2018.
Oh yeah, which
Shivering
one?
Truth.
Yeah, that's pretty unique and deserves more recognition because
go on.
I just wish I could help more of these cartoons. Just like, hey, people, check out these things. Like,
I feel it. Like, I wanna become popular enough that I just shout out one thing and then it blows up. You remember when like Freaks and Geeks, like there was this huge surge of repopularity?
Oh, I believe so. Yeah.
You know who started that?
Who? Paul Rudd?
Tyler, the creator. Like, he mentioned it in a tweet, I think. He, like, said, like, hey, yo, that show Freaks and Geeks was good. And then that, like, kickstarted the whole, like, revival.
I think back to, like, Rick and Morty when they did the Szechuan sauce thing. Like, you gotta do something like that.
Oh, God.
Just, because I thought for, like, my comic, if I ever could, just have 2 Anarchy Reigns Day 1 and 2, like, just 2 episodes of that, but it's completely separate times, because technically, for me, there's 2 Anarchy Reign holidays, one for the American release and one for the Japanese release in summer.
Yeah. You think about celebrating Anarchy Reigns Day?
Yeah. Any way to get that game out there,
Yeah, I guess that's very in brand for Pan Pizza.
Yeah.
Okay, what inspired the latest redesign of your avatar? Is what
right.
Mike G asked.
Essentially, I explained that earlier in this podcast where I'm just like,
you didn't want
tired of animating the mouth. Yeah.
I had one question just to interrupt the list. So your art style clearly early 2000s. You're a big early 2000s boy. Can you give me specifics like specific creator or cartoon that inspired a lot of your art style?
Yeah, Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Clone High. Like, there was a time in my life where I hated all these flat cartoons, like Clone High and stuff, like the designs. It was just like, I watched some of these shows, but there was just part of me thinking, like, yeah, this looks pretty bad. This looks like it was drawn by a 5-year-old, and I was like 13. Yeah. It's like, why does it look like anime,
I feel it. I remember that phase of looking like everything was anime.
To this day, people are saying this looks like it was drawn by a 5-year-old. It's like it never changed.
The cycle continue. War never changes.
Yeah.
The Clone High art style kind of looks like the Total Drama Island art style. Are they the same art director?
Yeah, I believe there was some person that was carried over from there, but yeah, they fit into that same art style.
Are you a fan of the Total Drama Island art style?
Casually, I like the designs. Yeah, I appreciate them for just making all these crazy body types for so many different characters.
It's
Yeah. You gotta make like 20 characters. You gotta make them all look distinct.
Right, exactly. Like silhouettes are so like important. I had a friend of mine who said like silhouettes aren't important, and I'm like, bro,
what the fuck?
What the fuck you just say to me? But it kind of makes sense that he would say it. Could all those girls like look alike? Like they'll kind of have that. Like some of their characters look too very similar.
He's like.
But I think
he doesn't all that are just all the same hourglass figures.
Yeah, kind of have the same hair. Like I was reading one of his comments, and it's like, damn, all these like it's hard, I can't remember which characters are which because they all look the same. But I think he likes that. I think that's like on purpose. Like he just likes that.
Damn, that's so vanilla, even for me.
That is very vanilla.
One thing I'm proud of is like I managed to make a bunch of like different body types for my characters and also the faces. Like a lot of them have completely different eyes and mouths designs. So there's one thing I noticed about VillainVerse while drawing it wasn't something I did on purpose, but after finishing the prologue, I realized, wow, like none of these characters have pupils. Like, the only character that has a pupil is the devil. Oh man, are you going for like that classic Newgrounds 2001 style where there was no pupils and it was all edgy?
I'm debating it. I'm thinking about like because there's certain characters just have that kind of like have no pupil look, or there's one character who has like just no face because his head is a tombstone.
Oh man, yeah.
And there's other characters who just have their eyes covered so you don't see them. I might do. I mean, I don't know because it's like one of those things that's like it'd be a fun factoid, but at the same time, it's like now it's like, oh, I gotta design a character, but make sure not to add pupils, and it's kind of like arbitrary. No. It's kind of very arbitrary.
A challenge. Yeah, sometimes you just line up your characters and realize, I do too much of this one thing.
Yeah.
Like, too many of my characters just have black hair, and it's like, damn, I need other colors of hair for these things.
I feel it. I've been really big into, like, it was kind of like how when people draw, like those Oni teeth, kind of like where they curve up, the sharp teeth. Yeah, I've been big into that. Like, because the villain and the devil in the prologue both have that same kind of teeth, and I mean that wasn't like on purpose. It's just I was just thinking, I need a devil design, but I need a good looking one, and I just kind of did it.
Are they like Japanese or?
Maybe I don't want to say. I don't want to say if it is a Japanese thing because I think I've seen like there's like Indian demons that look like that too, or like Chinese demons. It's just an Asian thing.
Yeah, I want to look into those things because, like, just in terms of like how other cultures interpret these demons and all these mythical creatures, because that's a lot of good.
Yeah, we're too fucking cucked by Christians and their interpretation of demons. Actually, you know what? I really like medieval demons because they're so like they're just so much weirder. Like they'll have like a face on their ass. Like, you ever seen like a medieval like Renaissance painting of hell and how wacky the demons look?
I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's just like a mishmash of different things.
Yeah. Like there's one that's like a giraffe man with a mouth in his stomach or something. It's like a weird giraffe centaur.
I mean, it's like a randomizer that these were designed with.
Yeah. All right, here's I posted this in the chat, but this is like what the villain looks like. These kind of teeth is what I was talking about. I've been kind of abusing these teeth design, but I think it works. I don't think it's too bad.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
Thanks.
Is that like his bling?
Yeah, that's his bling. Yeah. There's gonna be this thing in the comic that in the prologue, every character is like Deadpool, so they can all regenerate back from like the tiniest specks. And there's gonna be a running thing with the villain. Every time he gets like eviscerated and destroyed, every time he comes back, his like skull chain is like a different skull. It's like not the same creature. It's like a different skull every time, right?
Yeah.
So it looks it's gonna be wacky. Haha.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Do you have any other questions from fans?
Let's see.
Because I'm mostly just seeing the like classic, like, haha, when was Newgrounds funny? Haha.
All right.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do the. I thought you were gonna do the bit. Oh no. Yeah, go on.
Okay, STG, the Science Kid. Is there a style, aesthetic, be it visual or writing from previous generations of animation you'd like to see make a comeback in some capacity? Well, not so much animation, but like comic book movies. Like in the 90s, like every comic book movie had always these like big stylized cities made from some detailed miniature or something.
Like Tim Burton's Batman.
Yeah, like Tim Burton's Batman, the Judge Dredd 90s movie, Mystery Men. They all had like those big stylized cities, and I wish more modern comic book movies brought that back.
Yeah, ever since like, I don't know, even like in the Raimi Spider-Man, that's like New York is like a real city. It's kind of hard to do that with like superheroes that exist in real life cities. Like,
yeah.
Like maybe I guess the only exception we got in recently was maybe Wakanda from Black Panther, but like but Wakanda was mostly a green screen. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It was like 2 sets.
Yes, there was. Okay, the waterfall set, the throne room set, the lab set, and the one where they're like in the marketplace.
Yeah, that one marketplace is all they had.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. we could do better.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like if you saw Book of Life and Coco. Like Coco had more money, and their city, like their big establishing shot for the city, just looks like a bunch of dots or just crap. I don't know. It's not very unique. But
it's very Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shit. And Book of Life, like the establishing shot for the Land of the Dead, like it actually looks unique. You can see all these skull buildings and unique set pieces like that. That looks interesting. You know, I remember that more.
Look, us Mexicans love their skulls. We can't get enough skulls.
Yeah.
You gotta slap that bitch on with skulls.
Yeah, yes, got a bone some skeletons.
Mexicans also Tyke Kubo, creator of Bleach.
Wait, what?
Tyke Kubo, he loves skulls too. He has skulls on everything.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, damn! Okay, don't get mad, but I have not seen Book of Life yet.
Whatevs. I don't care. There's like so many things in the world. I can't watch everything, you know.
Yeah, I hate it when like a couple years ago I really wanted to become a filmmaker. I still technically want to get back eventually, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like I would have coworkers like ask me, "Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "No." And they'd be like, "What do you mean you haven't seen this movie? I thought I want to be a filmmaker." Like,
shit, I haven't seen Endgame.
I mean, neither. I'm really not interested. The only Marvel movies I care about are Guardians of the Galaxy. It just feels different. The rest feel very factory made, but Guardians of the Galaxy just feels different.
Yeah, and now everything's trying to rip off Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, exactly. You got any more questions?
Oh, not really.
Yeah, all these are like the majority of these are kind of like joke questions or questions we already answered.
Yeah,
and I think I think I got everything like on my list. Yeah, I think we went through it. You talked pretty fast, Pan. Not gonna lie.
Oh, whoops.
No.
Yeah.
You got any questions for me, Pan? You want to know anything about me? No.
Woo.
Okay, so I guess we can just end the podcast here then.
Yeah, this is where it ends.
Yeah, but actually, before we end every podcast, we kind of want to give the audience something to do, right? Mm-hmm. So I always ask for every person I interview, what is you read comics, right, Pan? Some comics.
No.
Okay, well, is there any besides? I think the only comic because usually at the end I always ask like if they want to recommend a comic to people, right? But I think the only the comic you would want to recommend is something you always recommend, which is Scud the Disposable.
Scud. Yeah.
Yeah, Scud the Disposable Assassin. For people who don't know about this, can you please describe Scud? So
That's too much to explain. But
give us like the pitch. What would be the pitch for Scud if you want to get people invested?
Let's say you want someone killed in the future, you go up to a vending machine, you put a quarter in, and you get a Scud robot, and you send out that robot to kill someone. The problem is, this one robot realizes that when he kills the target, the robot also dies. So the robot doesn't kill the target, he puts it on life support. And to sustain the life support of this target, he has to do other assassin jobs to keep making money and provide for this thing to keep it alive, so the robot stays alive. And that's like the first 2 issues.
Nice.
It goes crazy from there, and it's like Crank and Rick and Morty, I guess, because the Rick and Morty, one of the Rick and Morty guys.
Did he write an issue?
Yeah, Dan Harmon. Yeah, he wrote an issue, and there are some references to Scud in his work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
I was at one of those like kind of like used bookstore places that has like a lot of like anime and manga and stuff. It's like a Japanese store, and they had the complete Scud the Disposable Assassin collection like in one book. And I was debating on buying it, but I was like, yeah, I'm good. I mean, the thing is, like, because I'm mostly just trying to save money. I only buy comics if I really want to buy it.
That's understandable.
Yeah, one of these days I'll read it. I swear. You describing Scud reminds me of this one comic called Martial Law. You ever heard of Martial Law? It's like he's kind of like Judge Dredd, but he hunts down superheroes, right? But in this universe, superheroes are like a catch-all term for like war veterans. Because in this universe, it's all like, well, how do we get the consent of Americans to genetically engineer them? I know. We'll say, instead of being experimented on, we'll say like, oh, you want to become a superhero? Right? And that's how they convince a bunch of people who joined the military to get experimented on and get like...
I'm looking at...
Yeah.
I love the art. I'm looking at it right now. It does remind me of the Tick.
Yeah, it's drawn by Kevin O'Neill. He did a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah. I love his stuff. He's actually a big inspiration for me on VillainVerse, because he does this thing... Like, he's really good at fitting in, like, a lot of things happening in one page, right? Like, there'd be people getting, like, stabbed in the front, and in the background there'd be, like, people getting blown up. And he's so crazy with, like, character designs. Like, he'll have, like, a gang of, like, street superheroes. Like, there's this one guy who on his chest says, "Nuke 'em slowly," and he has, like, a chain made out of, like, human ears, right? Like, he has a necklace made out of human ears, right?
I love these designs. They're great.
Yeah, the Martial Law is only like, there's like only 4 main stories, and there's like a spin-off where he fights like a Pinhead from Hellraiser. Right? This is very 90s comics, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
And I like the first one. There's like a lot of social commentary. The first story does it the best. After that, the other stories kind of like fumble on the social commentary. But my favorite one is the second one, where he like... So there's a bunch of like superheroes who are like the I guess the proxy version of other superheroes. Like, oh, there's like a Superman, there's like a Batman, there's like an Avengers, right? And the best story is like the second one where he fights like the Avengers, right? But instead of they're more like insane psychos, and like the Asylum is like the Baxter Building from the Fantastic Four. Right, and that was really great. He fights against like the Punisher, who has like a Nazi. He has the swastika tattooed on his forehead. Yeah. And there's like my favorite part is like when they're in an elevator and the knockoff Punisher is about to fucking like electrocute him with like elevator wires, and he says the word superhero, and then Martial Law is like, "Oh, you said it! You said my word! That's my Shazam!" And then he like rips out of it, right? And he starts like blasting them. He's it's great. I recommend it. So whenever you get the chance, like, read that.
I should. I like this weird angular look to it.
Oh yeah, Kevin O'Neill stuff. If you like that, you should check out League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. You probably know it from the movie. The movie is trash. Don't watch the movie.
I know.
Here's one thing about League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Like, once you start reading it, it's like, oh, this is like if public domain characters all exist in the same universe. Like, that's what you think at first. But then the more you read it, you're like, wait, copyrighted characters exist in this universe. Wait, characters from movies exist in this universe. Wait, this is every single character that ever existed in the same universe.
What the hell is this then?
It's like I guess it's kind of like the
multiverse.
No, it's not the multiverse. It's just if all the stories happen simultaneously, like if it was chronicled throughout like history, right?
Yeah.
And like, and in the final book, there's like a moment where like every like end time apocalypse movie happens at the same time. Like there's a panel where you see like the Terminator robots fighting against the apes from Planet of the Apes.
Am I so is the movie absolutely nothing like all this great stuff you're telling me?
Yeah, the movie's
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah, the book is better. Although the more you read it, like I guess big spoilers for League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but like Harry Potter also exists in the universe too.
Yeah.
And he gets he doesn't if you're a big Harry Potter fan, you're not gonna like what they do with the character.
What do they do?
Oh, he's like the bad guy for like the third book.
Shit. So
he becomes a school shooter for Hogwarts.
What? Oh, like with a gun or just like
with a wand.
Okay,
and the whole excuse is kind of like, oh, Hogwarts is kind of like in a magical realm that parallels like real life, and if Harry Potter takes place around the same time that school shootings got popular, so. Right. There's also a running joke that every time there's like a big splash page with a bunch of like different like Easter eggs, there's always like a children's book character who's getting like killed or eaten. There's one where it's like they're in the forest and you see like these wolves like rip apart Peter Rabbit, and there's like another one where it's like you see the dead body of Thomas the Tank Engine in the background.
Yeah. Oh man.
Also, Hanna-Barbera characters exist in the universe too.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like every character exists.
Yay! This sounds like the Imagination Land from South Park.
Yeah, I think I don't know if I don't know how you feel about reading. If you're a big reading fan. Yeah. So anyway, before we go, Pan, just take a break from YouTube. You're not gonna become unpopular.
I know. That's what I'm doing now. It's January. I'm stocking up.
Yeah. Make your comic. Release the Kickstarter. You're gonna
Kickstarter.
Here's the thing. So nowadays, if you want like a comic physically published for a publication company, so like if you're literally like a nobody, they're not gonna really like give you too much to publish. Like the maximum they're gonna give you is like 5 issues. Because that fits like in a graphic novel, right? So so to run them less of a risk, you kind of need to put the money up front, right?
Yeah,
so,
like how much?
I forget. I need to ask my friends. Man. But it's like a lot of people, what they do now is they do a Kickstarter and then they'll give that money to the publication. So now they'll just publish your book physically without running any risk. Right, and I'm gonna try to do something similar once I get
That's the dream.
Yeah, once I get this whole thing completed. But I think. I think it'd be too complicated for you to run a successful Kickstarter.
Yeah, I see so many horror stories. I'm like, I'm not ready for that.
I mean, I had Ben Sade on. You know Ben. I had him, and he's had 2 successful Kickstarters already.
I mean, if you expect me to mail stuff out to like backers, I'm like, fuck, I don't know how to do that. To so many people.
There is like people don't realize like you got. It's like it's not that you're just making the comic. You gotta fucking mail shit out. You have to take physical time out of your day to mail shit out. Yeah, it's I'll talk about more in depth about that later. But yeah, I think this is where we end. Thank you, Pan, for being on. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter. Follow Pan on Twitter. I'm gonna have all his links down there in the comment section, so you follow that shit. If you like this stuff, please join the Patreon. Also, VillainVerse should be out. It should be on a website by now. I think it's probably going to be Cheesymanfredo.com if that domain is available.
Get your Squarespace out.
Yeah, get your Squarespace out with my code PANPIXA for coupon code PAN. Am I right, Pan?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I didn't arrange this.
All right. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Okay, cool.
All right.
So yeah.
Bye.